No, that would normally be a thumbnail, but I didn't know if you were like gonna leave me here by myself for a while or what. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you would just sit there live and just like wait for people to show up or something?
Mm-hmm.
I see how that could go. Like that.
Like this? Yeah, this is gonna be it.
It's our new show.
That's it. Come on in.
You know, April Fools is so dumb, but we thought, why not get ourselves into the action? And
You know?
like one might. So we just decided, just for fun, to do a new version of the show, right, Kerry?
I used to switch hosts for April Fools, like other shows that I've done.
Oh yeah, different
I would
hosts.
switch. Yep. Like one time, Katie Robert and I hosted the podcast that Christopher Penn and our friend John Wall do.
Wow,
And then, so we hosted their marketing show and they went and hosted mine.
that's a great story.
Boom shakalaka.
Trash Bag Show.
You were slow on the uptake. I didn't think you were actually going to let me finish that story. So I was like waiting
Almost.
for you to.
I know. I was.
It's going really good. So
Trash Bag Show.
So what is it? This is the idea. It was like, well, we've been putting things in the backpack now for like, I don't know, 4 years. So it's probably time to take some stuff out.
I can't believe this show's been 4 years. You know, I'm not an April Fool's guy. I don't like the experience, and it's just so obvious in things. But it is an interesting time to consider things that could be different, right? Like you and I were talking off camera a little while back about, you know, I keep getting this thing in my head that like we should make a new show because I've never gone more than 100 episodes. How long's the Backpack Show been going?
More than 100 episodes. We were doing 5 a week for years, for like 2+ years. And then we switched to 1 a week after that. So a little basic math would tell you we're in the several hundreds of episodes.
Yeah, somewhere between 2 and 3 something. I don't know. Hundreds of episodes. And usually I kill shows around 100 episodes. And one of the reasons I do that is because people are so precious, right? Like they're so like, oh, I have my show for 800 episodes. And you know who cares about that? Nobody. On the one hand, that's like good for you for staying power and all that. Yeah. But on the other hand, it's just like, if that's the only thing that you're just holding on for multitudes of episodes, it's not exciting. Tim Ferriss, his show's gone a stupid long time. Marketing Over Coffee has gone a ridiculous amount of years.
That was actually a fun one to steal from Christopher Penn and John Wall because they're so smart and and not like Katie Robert is crazy smart, but I mean we were co-hosts of a show about hobbies, so we're like so we kind of brought the hobby, we're not working, this is just for fun energy to Marketing Over Coffee. Nice. I don't know how. Yeah. And they gave us actual topics to discuss. And we're like, I don't know.
Of course. I'm kind of interested, almost more interested. How did they do trying to do the hobby show?
They didn't. They did the Marketing Smarts podcast I was doing at the time, which was, so that was like very easy, I think, a switch for them.
Yeah.
Whereas, but Marketing Over Coffee is a 2-host show. I didn't want to do it by myself. So I had Katie Robert come along with me, and she and I are just, 2 chuckleheads that do a hobby podcast. So we're like, I don't know, this marketing thing seems pretty good. So the only people, and because I checked, the only people who've ever come on the Backpack Show that took something out were the Oral Nuts, the YouTube creators, and they took out ego from the backpack because they said if you have ego involved, your project cannot succeed.
That's stupid interesting to me because I was just I watched this little video on Jean-Michel Basquiat, who was an artist contemporary of Andy Warhol. They were pals and all that sort of thing. And this person had kind of summed up the 6 different things that you could learn from Basquiat if you were an artsy type and how you could make some art. Chip is accurate on this, by the way. We agree, Chip.
I hate April 1st with the passion of 1,000 suns.
The 6 different things that you learn from Basquiat are, one is have an abundance of source material, like just always be kind of consuming and having good stuff coming in so you can learn and thus make more art. The other was stealing and sampling. Good artists copy, great artists steal. That very overused bit. Another was stop judging. And that's when you said take out ego. I was thinking, Basquiat's thing about stop judging. You can produce so much more material if you don't judge yourself on the way to putting it down. So I like that example of something to remove from the backpack. Maybe we should remove kindness.
I feel like I've done enough. I've done enough atonement.
Your penance.
For laughing. That's it. It's all over. I'm sorry, Ariel Helvetica. Kindness is out of the backpack. Yeah. No, so I think those are kind of two different things because there's a couple different levels of judgment. One is judging yourself to the point where you're self-editing and kind of killing prematurely what could be some of your best work. For whatever reason, you sort of tamp down on it and don't let it come to fruition. And I think that's a mistake. Judging other people's work, I mean, like realistically, we all do it, right? But there's a difference between internally going, I don't think that's a book I need to read versus like going out publicly and slamming somebody else. I would never do that. I mean, anybody creating anything has done more than the vast majority of people who sit at home and critique, and that's it.
Right.
So I have all the respect for people who put out a book or put themselves out there on video, that kind of stuff. I really do. Like, that doesn't mean privately I'm not like, who's taking those Instagram photos? Like, I do absolutely judge, but like only recreationally, I guess.
But that is a vast difference between person making a bunch of selfies versus someone trying to make a work of art of sorts. And I'm not even applying that phrase in the grand scheme of works of art. I think street art is some of my favorite. Whenever I travel, I like to take lots of photos of street art. I think, mashups are a great art, etc. I don't know that I would consider posting selfies unless they're clever selfies, like that lady who creates death scenes everywhere she goes. I think that's right.
Do you think we could get some of the Lisbon street artists to like come to a small New England town and just really do it up? Because there is some piss poor street art like hanging around here.
Yeah, I always find that it's kind of tricky to little local small town gangster types, but
But I think that taking ego out of the backpack, that's different from judgment for me, because ego is about what you think you deserve, which deserve is such a dangerous word. I've seen tons of people fight in a really embarrassing way, and nobody comes out looking good over like who had the idea first. And if you've read one business book, you've kind of read all business books, right? Like, I mean, there's like flavors and there's like people whose voice you like better. And there's some people who have an interesting take, but really how much new stuff is there? So people will come to like the equivalent of blows, but they're on social, just like sniping back and forth about, I had that idea first. I published my book, blah, blah, blah. Man, first of all, who really cares? And second of all, if you're creative and that's how you're going to make your living, no idea is worth fighting over. Like, just make something new. That's the difference between people who can only copy and people who can create, is that you can always create something new. So when I say like take ego out of the backpack, recognize that some stuff is not worth coming to blows over. So yeah, see, most business books or magazine articles run amok. It's so true.
One of my deepest examples of that is Atul Gawan's The Checklist Manifesto. That is a great article. It is not a great book. The article gives you everything you need for the Checklist Manifesto. And I'm sure one of my like publishing company friends in New York said, you should make that a book. And they were like, yeah, cool. And it was
who would say no?
It was a New York Times bestseller, so it did the thing it's supposed to do, but the article is better than the book. And there's a lot like that.
If you find, in my opinion, that like even doing something like that, where everybody else is going to be like, that's dumb, that should just been an article. All right, fine. They're not going to buy your book. Like, who really cares? Somebody will buy it. Somebody who didn't read your article, like whatever, that's cool. But I think if you find that anybody's kind of claim to your idea or something is taking your time and attention away from doing new work, man, I would just cut that stuff off. It's not worth the energy. It's great. I see it time and again. And these are like respected professionals in our space. And I think you guys, networking didn't originate with you. Like, it's just not. Chip says the worst are the ones that have catchy titles that don't match reality. 4-hour work week, anyone? I'm sure there's somebody that does a 4-hour work week, but unless they count like posting memes in a Slack channel as like work, probably.
Ferris argued right from the start that book was called that because it's like a polemic. Like it's the idea that, you could whittle your workday down to 4 hours.
And he didn't screw around so much.
Yeah, he was like, if you worked on the real thing that's the real work, you can get a lot done in a short amount of time. And especially if you like concentrated towards it, but also if you sort of automated, outsourced, delegated, you might be able to do 4 hours. The rest of the business might take some more time.
Okay. So. Okay. I guess I could buy that for $1. He did more than 4 hours of media every week for the book. Now you're just being persnickety, Chip.
It's not entirely untrue either. But yeah.
I know. Yeah, but also if you enjoy something, maybe he really enjoys, media, and it doesn't feel like work. So we could quibble all day about what you think work is, but I don't know. So in my opinion, judgment and ego both should come out of your backpack and go into the trash bag, but I don't think they're the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty judgy. It would be really hard for me to pull that one out of the bag. I might.
You stopped sarcasm for a while. Isn't that sort of like related? It's like judgment adjacent.
I don't know. I think I was thinking about that again today too. I was thinking about not sarcasm. I've sort of fallen off that wagon, although I'm better than I used to be. I think I just was thinking about the fact that like so many people don't have the things that they wish they had. So many people wish that someone cared when it was their birthday. So many people wish that someone would say, I just saw what you were doing and I just want to recognize you're doing a really good job. And I was thinking about sort of like between now and death, that might be a good way to use my energy, like just to make sure that people feel seen and appreciated. So
how much time do you have? Because you're gonna is a train bearing down on you now, or like what are we looking at? Because you're gonna have to do some other stuff.
Well, I don't mean like as my primary role, like, hey, what's your job? Being nice to people.
Be nice to people. I mean, if we have those my job is like watching Netflix shows that I enjoy and listening to audiobooks and talking about them.
I think we're all going to look back on social media days and be like, this is the dumbest thing all of us ever did. Like, do you think we'll all regret it?
No, not all. Because some people
would have a career
without it. Kind of. You could start the Backpat Show. Okay, so here's the thing. I actually do think we as a society should have a lot of regret around social media and how quick we were to make it an integral part of our social lives and to pass that down to our kids who have absorbed it as part of their kind of their introduction into society, because it's had some really unforeseen effects. I'm not going to say unintended, because I do think that the whole social media thing was engineered on purpose to be pretty addictive and to make people kind of stay in the app to their detriment. So I am a little worried about us as a society. So I feel like we should probably regret social media, but I also don't think some people ever will. Some people still buy the check mark on Twitter. I'm not calling it X, because they're like, well, I need to reach my audience. And I'm like, okay, like you do you, but I wouldn't. I don't know.
Right.
There's a judgment we talked about.
Yeah, it's a good set of questions. I mean, I think it's a
Would you look at that?
Just saw a setting that I can mirror my camera.
Why would you? You don't have anything written on you.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I can also touch up my appearance.
We should explore all the new features. StreamYard has added so many features since we started the show, and we have never looked at them. We're like, that's cool. We're good. We're good with what we have.
I just want to touch up my appearance, though. I just thought, what's going to happen? Jeff Bridges.
Here, I'll touch up your appearance.
Thank you.
You look great.
Perfect.
I love that it thinks you look like that. The AI thinks that that's you.
It's pretty close. I don't even own jeans anymore, but it's pretty close. I like
I
how
don't know
your
why.
jacket is possibly like a bathrobe as well.
Yeah. I'm in like Christmas leggings. And apparently it's like not cold enough to put on a real coat, but it is cold enough for gloves. Like I would wear gloves while carrying trash bags. Because I mean, not those kind of gloves. Like my winter gloves. I would wear like rubber gloves.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, I read those as that. What else did we take out of the backpack?
Are you a hoarder?
Avocado was good. I think avocado was a great answer.
You're gonna keep avocado in there. I guess I could give up the extra set of teeth, but
yeah. What if you need them? We could fall down right then. What is Chip saying? A lot of what happens on social media happened in reality in the old days. Very true.
Yeah.
It's just more visible to more people, which magnifies the impact, but also highlights the problems. Yeah, I just think that once we started all going into that, we all started aiming, our lives at the screen instead of the other way around. We didn't aim a screen at our lives. We said, how's this going to show up on camera? Like, there are places out there that make food specific for the gram to lure people in so that they hope that they'll also order delicious food.
Yikes.
There's
just whole new ways to exclude people, which is probably the opposite of what people thought social media was all about. But teenagers now, like on Snapchat, you can show where you are to your group of friends. So if you purposely exclude someone, like your little teenager gets excluded, they can see that everyone else is at like Six Flags and that they didn't get asked. And you know what? That sucks. So not like, I mean, back in the day, you would have found out that you got excluded somehow after, but you wouldn't have had to see it like in real time. I don't know. It just seems like not a super advancement in our technological space.
To your point, especially for people who are feeling a little out of sorts. However, now that you say that, I'm thinking about people who have lots of social anxiety. Like my youngest kid socializes heavily on Discord, but it's harder for him in person. And so like I can see that being, especially around the pandemic stuff, there were a lot of people who felt like, oh my gosh, my time has come. I'm ready. I am great at socializing, in front of a screen, which isn't the same as social media, but it is social networking. So
yeah, but the artist you talked about earlier, I can't remember his name. Sorry.
Yeah,
he said that if you are consuming, right, that you're not, you're not kind of filling your own wellspring to create.
Right, you're not feeding, and so that matters too.
Chip says, on the flip side, it gives more outlets for those kids who may be excluded by their geographically proximate peers. Listen, 100%. I have a trans kid, and it is absolutely true that where we lived, there was not a lot of options for befriending people who would be supportive. So I do. I understand. It's like it gives and it takes. So I don't know. I do. But when I say we should regret social media, we should regret not giving it more thoughtful consideration before we all just like wholeheartedly jumped in, Oh, Chloe's here.
Hi, Chloe. I was just thinking about Chloe because I was like, we should probably end this show, and it's got to be one of those ones that Chloe finds after. And she'll be like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
So I like that you even did the little logo up in the corner. That was cute.
Yeah. You got to be detail oriented. I mean, we should probably show the intro again since we're never going to have the chance again.
Run the intro.
All right, I'll run it for your sure.
Boom shakalaka.
Trash Bag Show. Trash Bag Show.
I lowered the pitch just a little bit.
And it sounds it.
Trash Bag Show.
Sounds like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Perfect. That's why it's so good.
You got a big fat person.
I haven't, of the things people have put in the backpack over the years, there's not a lot of stuff that I disagreed with. I mean, it works for them. You can't be like, you don't need that. But I mean, for myself, I'd be like, oh, maybe I don't. But most of the stuff like resilience, sense of humor, curiosity, we've had some really great things go in. I wouldn't take those out. No.
was trying to think of some of the more physical ones that people have added. Those are a little more sketchy.
Yeah, sure, I guess. I mostly remember like paper and pen or journal or snacks.
Right.
And those also are things you kind of can't argue with. I mean, anybody who said they'd take around copies of their book is like jerky. Don't those that shit can get out of the backpack.
Not in hell for those people.
Just dump it out. Put it right in the trash bag.
Oh, I love this. I love that there's also a subtle trash bag overlay.
Yeah, that's a subtle trash bag. In case you want people to like go, wait a second.
You're so good.
I didn't know which one you would like, but of course, by the time you were here, there wasn't any time to ask you. So
no,
so
perfect timing.
We just went for it, like all of society and social media. So like, in we go.
We were just talking about throwing stuff out today, Chloe. We were just like, what can we throw out of the backpack?
It comes out.
Ego was one. Judgment was another. Sarcasm, I guess.
I think if you could take out caring too much about what other people think in general, I would take that out.
Perfectionism. I'd like to take out perfectionism. I've never seen it do good by anybody except for airline pilots and surgeons.
Oof.
I want
Even
them
surgeons. It's like, do they need two of those? Okay.
Right. Who needs it?
One's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? One thing that we did change that we is real, like it is not an April Fool's thing, is we changed the ending.